Welcome to the Bay, everyone. All right, today we've got a big one. It's a classic sibling rivalry in the GPU world. The RX 9070 going head to head with its bigger, beefier brother, the RX 9070 XT. If you're even thinking about a 1440p build right now, trust me, this is the ultimate showdown you need to see.
So this is the big question, right? What kind of builder are you? Are you all about that smart, efficient performance, the best bang for your buck? Or are you willing to shell out a little extra for that raw, unadulterated power, to really future-proof your rig? That's the choice we're going to break down today. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's meet our contenders. In this corner, we've got the RX 9070, the efficiency king. Think of it as the smart, calculated choice. It sips power, gives you amazing value, and is just a dream for 1440p gaming. And in the other corner, the RX 9070 XT, the powerhouse. This thing is all about brute force. It's built to just chew through games and spit out frames, especially when you're talking pure rasterization. Two cards, but man, two totally different approaches to gaming.
All right, enough talk. Let's get to the main event, the reason we're all here, the frames. How do these two actually stack up when the rubber meets the road? We're diving straight into the FPS showdown at 1440p and 4K.
So right off the bat, this chart tells a really clear story. We're looking at the average performance gap at 1440p, and wow, the RX 9070 XT consistently pulls ahead by about 15 to 20%. Now that might not sound like a huge number on paper, but trust me, in a really demanding game, that is a difference you can absolutely feel.
And here's what that 15 to 20% looks like in actual games. Take a beast of a game like Cyberpunk 2077. That's the difference between a solid 95 FPS and a buttery smooth 115. You're blasting past that 100 FPS milestone. Now for the competitive crowd playing Warzone or Apex, both cards are absolute monsters, let's be real. But that XT just gives you that extra cushion, that headroom, to make sure your high refresh rate monitor is getting every single frame it can.
But listen, frames per second, that's only part of the puzzle, right? It's easy to get obsessed with the numbers, but a GPU has to actually live in your PC. So we've got to ask the real-world questions. Is this thing going to fit in my case? Is my power supply going to cry for help? It's time to look beyond the frames at the specs that really matter for your build.
Okay, let's break this down. First thing you'll notice, VRAM is the same across the board. A really healthy 16 gigs of GDDR6. No worries there. But then you look at power draw. And whoa, this is the biggie. The standard 9070 is just sipping power at 220 watts. The XT, on the other hand, is thirsty, pulling a full 304 watts. And that, my friends, has a direct impact on the power supply you'll need. We're talking a solid 750 watt for the XT. Honestly, that 220-watt number for the regular 9070, that's kind of its secret weapon. It's not just about saving on your electricity bill. Less power means less heat just getting dumped into your case, and less heat means your fans don't have to spin like crazy, so the whole thing is just quieter. It's why this card is an absolute dream for those awesome, compact, small form factor builds where every degree and every decibel matters.
And then there's the other side of the coin. That extra 15 to 20% performance you get with the XT, it doesn't come out of thin air. It has a cost. And that cost is an extra 84 watts of power. And this isn't just about needing a bigger power supply. It means you have to be serious about your case's airflow. You've got to have a plan to get all that extra heat out. Otherwise, you're just going to be leaving performance on the table.
Okay, so we've looked at the benchmarks, we've looked at the specs, we've seen the power and the power draw. Now it's time to put it all together and help you answer the million-dollar question. Which of these GPUs actually belongs in your rig? Let's get to the final verdict. Look, if we're talking about pure, simple, frames per dollar value, the RX 9070 just squeaks past its big brother. If your main goal is to squeeze every last drop of performance out of every single dollar for your 1440p setup, the data says the 9070 is the smart money. But we all know a build is about more than just the price tag. So let's look at this from a few different angles for a few different types of builders.
First up, let's talk to the 1440p high refresh gamer. You know who you are. Your mission is to feed that 144 Hz or 165 Hz monitor all the frames it can handle, especially in competitive games, but you don't want to have to sell a kidney to do it.
For you, a recommendation is hands down the RX 9070. It's simple. We saw the numbers. It absolutely crushes high frame rates in games like Fortnite and Apex. It hits that perfect sweet spot of price and performance for 1440p, and it does it all while being cooler and quieter. It's the definition of a smart buy. All right, next up, the 4K upgrade planner. You might be gaming at 1440p today, but you're already window shopping for that shiny new 4K monitor. You want a card that's not just good for now, but ready for what's next.
Okay, if that's you, then spending the extra cash on the RX 9070 XT makes a ton of sense. That 15 to 20% performance lift we saw, it becomes way more important at 4K, where you're fighting for every single frame. The XT just gives you that extra muscle to crank up the settings and really enjoy that 4K experience. It's a smarter long-term play if high-res is in your future.
Okay, new scenario. What if you're the person who cares just as much about noise and heat as you do about frame rates? Maybe you're building in one of those awesome little small form factor cases, or maybe you just want your PC to whisper, not sound like a jet engine taking off.
Yeah, this one's a no-brainer. The RX 9070 is the card for you, period. It all comes back to that amazing power efficiency. That lower wattage means less heat, which means your fans can just chill out. The result is a system that runs quiet and cool. It is the perfect heart for an efficient and silent build. And finally, let's talk to the buy it once, buy it right builder. You're not someone who upgrades every generation. You want to buy a graphics card and have it last you for 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. You need the longest possible runway for future games.
If that's your philosophy, then the RX 9070 XT is the obvious pick. That extra money you spend today, you're basically buying yourself future performance. Think about it. A few years from now, when new games are pushing hardware to the limit, that extra 15 to 20% is going to be the difference between a great experience and having to turn down all your settings. It's paying a little more now to stay happy later.
Now we have to give a huge shout out to our friends over at bestgpusforgaming.com. Seriously, all the benchmark numbers, all the data we've been talking about today, it comes from their incredibly detailed analysis. If you're a numbers geek and you want to go even deeper, you absolutely have to check out their site. So that brings us right back to where we started. Is that raw power worth the premium, or is smarter efficiency the way to go for your next build? Ultimately, there isn't one right answer for everyone. It's all about what you need. Are you Team Powerhouse or Team Efficiency King? The choice is all yours. Keep it cool and keep building.